Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Spoken. Once again, this is our NBA segment, Playoffs Time. I'm your host, Terry Love. To my left here, Lance Twitwell. To my right here, Mr. Derek Williams. Now, it seems like the Spurs are doing a little bit of spring clean. They have their brooms out because they have swept the LA Clippers and they have swept the Utah Jazz. So they are now 8-0 right now in the playoffs. Sitting in San Antonio waiting for the next round of the playoffs, which could be OKC or it could be the Lakers. We'll find out tonight. Now, can the Spurs be stopped? That's the main question I have. Can the Spurs be stopped? I mean, because they are on the road. Tony Parker's playing well. Ginobili's playing well. Duncan is contributing. Everyone knows their role. They're playing quite well. So, are the Spurs the one coming out the West, possibly? If they face either the Lakers or OKC, or they may just stop at either one of those teams. Just start with you.
Well, I did pick this. I picked the Spurs out of the West earlier. When we made our predictions. But if I'm going to sit here and say can they be stopped? Yeah, they can. They can be stopped. There is possibilities. There's no team in history, maybe besides maybe the '96 Bulls, 97, 98 Bulls. Those two teams that might have been like just pretty much perfect almost. But this Spurs team can be stopped. But will they? I don't know, man, because they play such great team basketball, and obviously their record is showing it. Even past the playoff record of being 8-0 so far, they also haven't lost since the early middle of April. So this team is hitting literally on all cylinders. So I don't know if I have the Thunder passing the Lakers. We'll talk about that later, but I don't know if the Thunder are going to be consistent enough to beat the Spurs in the Western Conference, and I don't know whoever comes out of the East if they're going to be ready and rested enough for because usually it's the West that wears each other down and then faces an East that kind of just rolled through. This year it's kind of different because the East has kind of had a battle. There's
right.
Sixers and Pacers teams that are really not have the talent like the Celtics and Heat, but they scrap, and so it's been kind of wearing these star teams down. So maybe this year the West comes out a little bit more rested. So I don't know. It's kind of a question mark for me right now whether they can be stopped or not. If they will be stopped or not.
Derek?
They can be stopped. Excuse me. I don't know if they will be stopped. I mean, what they're playing lights out, man. I don't know if I've seen a team. Granted, Utah was Utah. And Utah's still a young team. You kind of maybe thought that there could be a sweep there. But, but to sweep the Clippers, I didn't think they would sweep the Clippers. I thought they would get the Clippers in maybe 6. But the way they ran through the Clippers kind of woke me up a little bit. Kind of jumping on the band. Not all the way drinking the Kool-Aid yet. Because I really, really was looking forward to, and I'm not saying it's over, but I really wanted my Lakers to play the Spurs because traditionally we match up so well with the Spurs and will give the Spurs a lot of problems because of Andrew Bynum, because they just have nobody to defend Andrew Bynum. Oklahoma doesn't have anybody. He's just so big. But I don't know, man. If they keep playing like this, they're gonna Pop's going right back to the finals and Dunk's gonna get 5 rings, man. They're getting great production from their bench. The Steven Jackson pickup was huge. Now, if you go into there, Steven Jackson will be able to guard Durant. He's 6'9", he's long, he's athletic, he's tough. He'll be able to get right in Durant, and I think that's why they gave away like good guys like George Hill and those guys. Pop was looking at the big picture. Pop was looking for a ring. Steven Jackson gives him what I think he needs to win.
Their biggest X factor, I think, right now isn't even the big 3 or even Steven Jackson. I think that also you got to look at that kid, the young kid named Leonard. He's been knocking down big time 3-pointers. He's been like Avery Bradley's been for the Celtics. He's been like that for the Spurs. So those kind of 3-point shots at a young age, a guy like that coming off the bench, also, it just makes this team that much scarier. Not to mention, obviously you got Tony Parker, Tim Duncan playing out of his mind, and Ginobili coming off the bench and making obvious impacts like he always has. So this team is very scary.
They had to get long and athletic because I think they were really looking at – I don't think they were looking at the Lakers or anybody. I think they were looking at what Oklahoma's doing.
True.
How they're young and they're athletic. And they had to get some long, athletic, long guys in there. That's what San Antonio's done.
True.
Okay, so are the Heat on the road? On last night, they defeated the Pacers last night. Granger came out and said that he will hold LeBron James. He'll shut him down, kind of lock him down and whatnot. And, I'm going to ask you guys this question. Is holding LeBron James to 40 points, 18 rebounds, 9 assists, holding LeBron James or locking him down?
No. Danny Granger.
I would hope you said no.
Listen to me, Danny Granger. You have been defending your butt off. You have been making LeBron struggle. You are almost just as big as LeBron, maybe not as strong as LeBron, but you have been getting in LeBron's head. Just playing. Then you open your mouth, and then you talk, and then the guy goes off for 40, 18, and 9. You did not shut him down. Zip it. Keep playing good basketball, because when you were zipping it, you guys were up. Now you're tied.
Tied
now I want
2-2.
you to go back, be quiet, continue to play good basketball, and trust me, you should win the series in 6.
Oh, win a series in 6. So what do you think about that, Lane?
I will agree that he needs to be quiet. He needs to quit talking like this. You know, coming out and vowing that he's going to battle LeBron, quote unquote. And then LeBron might have had his best career postseason game. Ironically after that. I don't think that he's done that well against LeBron overall, and I don't think he's really got in his head. I think he's tried to. He's gotten his head. He's gotten to his face every single game, but I don't think he's really got into LeBron's head, because usually, like everybody says, LeBron folds when it really matters. Yesterday was a must-win, and he goes off on Danny Granger and the Pacers. So to me, if anything, he just pissed LeBron off.
Well, but the 6 points in the game before, in the whole second half, LeBron, I mean, you got to credit Danny Granger for some of that, man.
But is that really okay? But is that really LeBron, mentally weak, or is that the fact he had literally nobody helping him that game? Dwayne Wade going for 5 points.
Both.
He was worn out.
I think both.
I mean, what I'm saying is LeBron James was wore out.
I think he was worn out, but
It could be both. That Wade's not hitting and he's not hitting, and he's also talking to you.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay.
I'm not saying LeBron's the strongest guy.
Yeah, but you can't.
But still, I would be ridiculous to say that.
You can't. You got to push through. You have
and that's
to
what he
push
did
through.
yesterday.
He did push through yesterday. I mean, LeBron's performance was superb yesterday. Was it his best playoff performance I ever seen him play? No, but it was really
Well,
good.
And
what was, man? You got one in mind.
The Detroit.
Yeah, the 29 to 30 points. Yeah.
Oh man,
I might have to agree with you on that.
I mean, he scored like over 20 something straight just points. It was just like yesterday. LeBron had a big game, but he really didn't stand out to me like he did in that Detroit game. That Detroit game, I'm sitting there watching.
Well,
he stood up because of the fact he didn't have another superstar dropping 30 points that game, so that really helped
and
out
plus
yesterday.
it was what was on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a trip almost.
That was the Eastern
finals.
Conference. Yeah, and they were in there, and the Pistons were at home. They had, and I know the Pacers were, but they weren't as good of a team as the Pistons.
Yeah,
were.
at that time the Pistons was a championship team.
Right.
They had already won championship. This Pacers team hasn't won anything. I don't even know if they won the division.
But yet they're acting. And what pisses me off about the Pacers, honestly, guys, I like the fact they're scrappy. That's good. It's really cool to see teams like this. Very refreshing. They're not intimidated. But what upsets me is they act as if they've been there, like you just said. They act as if they have a sense of entitlement. And this is the kind of team where you have to work for everything you got. You got Lance Stevenson. I know he apologized about it, but you got Lance Stevenson, who nobody even knows. Probably some Pacer fans don't even know who this guy is. And he's sitting there doing choke signs to LeBron James. Now everybody can laugh about it, and it's funny. It actually kind of is a little hilarious. But you got to have a sense of respect here, in basketball. You're talking about a 3-time MVP. Somebody does this to Kobe Bryant, Laker fans are blowing up cars. You know what I mean? So we can't be having this going on with a guy that nobody knows. You have another star calling somebody out, and then we got news.
Right.
This guy is just, oh, look at this moron. You know what I mean? Like, who is this guy?
Why would you think guys would do that to LeBron? They don't do that to Kobe. It's got to be a reason.
Well, that's another point. What I'm saying is there's a sense of respect for guys that are elites. You got to have a certain amount of respect for guys, even if you do.
But there's something going around that they don't. Well, there's a reason why they don't have respect for LeBron.
Well, I think they got that yesterday when they found out that he's kind of good.
I mean, yeah.
But yes, the Heat. I will say the Heat are on the rise. I think. I'm not saying they're still going to win the series. They do got to. Dwayne Wade and LeBron got to play like that every game in order for them just to win this series.
Good job, D Wade. 30 points, nice bounce back.
But I don't know. The Pacers are going to come back and try to really fight them. They've already won in Miami, so I think that they could do it again. I'm still going to pick Miami though to win this series.
And the Pacers were leading that game before halftime and started slowly creeping back and took over the game. Same thing with the Celtics.
I blame the coach in the Indiana series.
Oh, really?
Yesterday I do.
Yeah.
The bad matchups on the floor yesterday. I think he held West and Hilbert out too long.
Yeah, they both looked sluggish towards the end of the game.
I mean, put them back in with 4 minutes left. You got to put those guys in back about the 7 or 8 minute mark. You put them back in 4 minutes, they're out of loop. Miami had too much going.
Right.
It was over with.
Boston Celtics lose once again to the 76ers. They play on tonight. The series is tied 2-2. Celtics are going out the 76ers the first half, and yet again they came back, all the way crept back and took the lead and won like by 10 or 11 points. Against the Boston.
9 points, I think it was.
9 points
Yeah,
against the Celtics. What's going on there? Doc Rivers, what's going on there? So now they're playing back in Boston on tonight to hopefully lead the series 3-2. What do you guys think about that?
I was very surprised that a Doc Rivers team and a veteran team like this would blow a lead like that. Some teams you just think, oh, that wouldn't happen. But hey, you got to quit talking about what the Celtics. Let's credit what Philly's doing. They're not quitting. They're playing through, and it's a test to their coach, man, Doug Collins, man. He's tough, man. He's one of the best in the league. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's gonna keep those guys fighting and fighting and fighting. I mean, I got the Celtics win this series, but the Celtics gonna come out of this series with a little limp. They're gonna limp out of here.
I think the Celtics are going to win the series. I do agree with Derek. But there is some scary things going on with Boston. The fact that they're doing a light switch type of game where they'll turn it off and turn it on and just expect to be able to turn it on. Problem is they're an old team. They can't just expect that they're just going to be able to jump back in and jump back in, because not only are they old, but they have injuries, guys. Ray Allen has been a shell of himself this series, and even in the past series, he's putting up pedestrian numbers at best. They got to have him knock down big jumpers. If it wasn't for Avery Bradley, they probably wouldn't have any three-point shooting going on right now. So they're going to have to really just take it to the Sixers tonight. I have them winning this game. Rondo's going to go off on them. I think that they're going to do their best to get a win at home and finish the series the next game after that. But they cannot do this light switch stuff no more. They can't be turning on and off and just giving up leads.